Okay, I want to give you a quick update on the health of Donald Trump and what I think he might be doing wrong. Shelley Watson, thank you for becoming a member. I love how you guys are jumping in as soon as we start. And look, this is based on not just my opinion, but I obviously research what doctors are saying. But don't take anything I say definitively in the terms of medicine. I'm not a doctor. I want to be super clear about that. As always, in the beginning of these live videos, I want to quickly tell you, I used to say there's one sponsor, and in this case, twostrongcoffee.com/TYT. You get this mug if you order three bags or more. Two bags or more, you help progressive causes. And it tastes great. But now I also say you guys are sponsoring the video in a sense, because everyone who signs up is part of the Young Turks. You guys have great comments we read during the live show, which is going to happen real soon. We've got interviews coming up at 5:30 Eastern and the live show of Young Turks at 6 o'clock Eastern. And so hitting the join button below helps the show, and you get all of our content depending on the level you're at if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, everybody who goes to tyt.com/join gets all of our videos if they sign up for membership. Nuke Lab, thanks for becoming a member. We appreciate it. All right, so let me get to it. The number one issue is that, there's two giant issues here. So Donald Trump is leaving the hospital in about an hour right now, okay? Number one, he shouldn't be leaving the hospital that quick. I have a theory as to why he's leaving that early. I'll get back to that. You know what? I'll do that right now. So, look, this is the biggest part of the speculation. That's why I wanted to save it to the end. But yes, the obvious reason appears to be, the apparent reason appears to be, he wants to show how strong he is, and he wants to show that he's back at work and wants to seem vital. That's why, as we're going to explain in the main show in a little bit, he signed blank papers pretending to do work from the hospital. He's a joke. There's another hilarious part of that, which we'll save for the main show. Personality disorder, that's a funny name, but thank you for joining Young Turks. We appreciate it. My speculative theory is, if a person's addicted to something, they got to get back and take it when not everyone is watching them. He's being watched 24/7 by doctors, nurses, etc. right now. If he really is on something, he's got to get out of there and get back home to take it. Okay, but that's definitely speculation. I want to be clear about that. And I don't know if he is or not. And people have speculated about different drugs he might be taking. I have no idea, because I don't take those drugs, so I don't know what the characteristics of those are. Okay, now let's get back to the more important stuff and the stuff that's more definitive. So he's taking a cocktail of drugs, a drug cocktail. One of them is Regeneron, and if I mispronounce any of these medicines, sorry. And that one is experimental. Now, it doesn't look like it has many downsides based on what doctors and scientists are saying. It might not have huge upsides because it's still in clinical trials and they're not positive, but at least it appears to not have many downsides. Now, that's good news for his health. The problem is, no one's ever taken it with a combination of drugs that he's taking. Literally no one ever has, right? So now you're playing with fire a little bit because you're doing things that nobody else has done, and you're experimenting on the president of the United States. Now you're going to think, wait, but his doctors are probably the best in the world. Why would they do that? Because it's not them. This, I can tell you from my experience with Donald Trump. The doctors aren't saying what to do. I mean, of course, they're giving advice and counsel, and maybe strongly so. I don't know the inner details of their relationships. But Donald Trump is going to do what he's going to do. That anyone who has ever worked with him says the same exact thing. You cannot talk sense to him, and he will absolutely insist. In fact, there's another story out that we're also going to cover on the main show about how even Donald Jr. is thinking, has this guy lost his mind? We got to get him under control. And by the way, some of the drugs might also be affecting his state of mind, although I think he's always been out of control, so I don't see anything different there. But he's taking it with some vitamins and zinc and other medicines that nobody's ever done this combination. So my guess is Trump is telling his doctor, hey, hit him with all it's got. Okay, I want all of it. I want to be careful. But the reality is, as doctors are now reporting, that was my theory, was that, wait, you shouldn't do something experimental in a case this important. And then I researched online, and now, of course, they're writing articles today, right now, as we speak, with doctors saying, I wouldn't do all of those at the same time, not because we know it's dangerous, but because we don't know that it's not dangerous. It's not a good time to experiment when your life's on the line and you're 74 years old and you have a heart condition and you're obese. So in that sense, he's opened up a problem for himself he didn't need to have. Okay, so that's problem number one. Problem number two is he's on dexamethasone, and that's a powerful steroid. And doctors say you don't take that in the beginning of the disease. You take that if the disease gets, quote, severe and critical. Now, is his disease severe and critical? I don't know, but it doesn't make sense if it's severe and critical and he's leaving the hospital in an hour. My guess is that if I had to guess, and I am, that his disease at this point is not necessarily severe and critical, but Trump is telling the doctor, give me everything you got. Give me everything you got. But that's not the right way to handle it. And so one of the things that it could lead to is if you overcorrect and you attack the virus too much, it could actually open up your body to being susceptible from an attack from your own system trying to fight off the disease. So you might have accidentally done more harm than good if you're overly aggressive in treating the disease. But you cannot talk sense into Donald Trump. If he just played it straight, took the medicines that he's supposed to, like remdesivir, which definitely works, okay, in bringing down morbidity for coronavirus. And luckily he's staying away from nonsense like hydroxychloroquine. He didn't take that. Nobody's saying he took it. So when his life's actually on the line, he's like, yeah, I was just kidding before. Okay. Now, no way, I'm not taking that. Has he injected himself with bleach? No, thank God he hasn't. But outside of that, I would be shocked if his doctor was recommending, because no other doctor is recommending take all these medicines at the same time. So as I told you in the very beginning, based on the level of care he's getting, based on the falling fatality rates of coronavirus and everything else we know, the president of the United States only has about a 2% chance, and it's super rough, guys. My estimate, based on all that I have read, of dying from coronavirus in this particular situation, only 2%. So very low, whatever the number is, right? But now, by taking those cocktail drugs that are not necessarily approved to be taken together and overcompensating, he has increased his percentage that something's going to go wrong. But that actually leads to the number one problem, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. But there's too many of you guys that have signed up, and I got to call out your names as quickly as I can. Christian Brito, Petra Pino, Fernando, Ismail Santillano, all these great names. Jocelyn House is in the house. Gravy T729. There is no off switch on dad jokes, by the way. Madalena Balka, Virion, you guys are all fantastic. Thank you for signing up. Hit the join button below and you become a Young Turk member and get more of our exclusive coverage, which we're going to do more exclusive coverage just for the members later today. So make sure that you're checking that out. So the last thing is the most important thing. In a situation like his, the biggest danger is a blood clot, because it happens really quickly and then, oops, you're in a lot of trouble, okay? And that's what kills a lot of people. So the one thing he should be on is blood thinners, because the condition hardens the heart, if you will, and Trump's already got a pretty hardened heart, okay? No off switch on dad jokes. But in this case, seriously, it does, and it restricts the flow of blood because it hardens the places that the blood flows through, obviously, in the heart. And so that's already a problem. He already has a heart condition, and blood clots are a giant problem in coronavirus, and one of the top problems in a situation like his, where it might cause someone to pass away suddenly. But he's not taking the blood thinners. Why? Of all the things, that's the one thing you should, in my opinion, again, I'm not a doctor, but based on what I've read, the one thing you should definitely take, other than remdesivir, you should definitely take those two, in my opinion. So, and again, always consult with your doctor. If you actually have it, go to your doctor knows better. Please consult with them. Okay, so why is he not taking it? Because apparently that created a problem for his brother Robert in a completely different context. But you're not Robert. And he didn't have coronavirus. You do. Blood clots is a big problem. But you can't talk sense into him. So I think he's actually, and now the third issue is he's leaving the hospital where he could get immediate care if he were to have a blood clot and have a stroke or a heart attack. So 3 strikes. It's so classic Trump. You had it. You look like you're fine. You're probably going to be fine anyway. But you've created needless risk for yourself. He can't stop being incompetent. I kid around about no off switch because David Letterman used to have. I like the guy, but what I viewed to be an obnoxious slogan that his staff would do. There's no off switch on genius. Okay, spare me. But on Donald Trump, there's no off switch on incompetence. So he's like, oh, I got the coronavirus. I know better than the doctors. Probably no one knows this better than me. Give me all these things, but don't give me that. And I'm leaving the hospital. What are you doing? All right, look. It's not like he's going to watch a Young Turks video, although he does from time to time and tweets some out. I won an election night. Look at what the Young Turks said. Okay, but, and it's, look, I don't want to root against his health, okay? But it's not like I'm going to go tackle him and tell him to do the right things because he won't listen anyway, okay? But if you're a Republican and you love Trump and you're supporting Trump, you got to be pretty pissed at how he's treating himself because he's moved up his percentages. I mean, these are the numbers I'm telling you are so rough they're nearly made up. But from 2% to 20% likelihood of a catastrophic incident because of how he's dealing with his medication. So, but anyway you slice it, if you put aside the numbers, go read for yourself. You'll see what the doctors are saying is that he is creating needless risk for himself in this case. So let's see how it turns out. Let me read the names of the last remaining members as quickly as I can before we go. Christian Brito, I think I might have read that. Yep. Virion, I read. Almost done, guys. Then we're going to start the main show. Dwayne's son, thank you for joining up. Armando Concepcion, awesome. BBC Cakes 08. All right. Dan Scoffich, Gohan 881988. That's a lot of numbers. Megan Satanas. You guys are all awesome for signing up. Hit the join button below. We love you guys. And go watch the Young Turks.